If you're a newcomer to Canada or simply filing your income tax for the first time, the process is intimidating. You just don't know where to start and what to expect. So in this video, we will provide a step-by-step guide to filing taxes in Canada for the first time. We will cover the three main aspects of filing tax, and later in the video, we will do a full walkthrough on how to file your income tax by yourself through an easy-to-use tax software. So feel free to jump to the chapter that interests you the most. This video is not a financial advice. It's meant for entertainment and educational purposes only. We highly recommend you consult an accounting professional if you don't feel comfortable filing the tax yourself. But if you are, keep watching. So who must file taxes? The answer is simple: everyone. As long as you live and somewhat function in Canada, you must pay and file income tax. There are some exceptions. For instance, international students and foreign workers who don't have a home or strong residential ties in Canada and spend less than 133 days in Canada normally wouldn't need to file taxes. But even then, in most cases, they're still required to pay income tax on the portion of income earned while they were physically present in Canada. If you are a newcomer who's arrived to Canada during the year, even if you arrived on December 25th, you still have to file an income tax report, even though you've made zero income. Canada's tax system is regulated by the Canada Revenue Agency, also known as the CRA. This is the agency that you will communicate with for all the things income tax. You should create an account on their website, and once you log in, you can view various documents and manage your profile. Tax deadlines. In Canada, each resident is fully responsible for filing their own income tax. The tax season begins end of February, and the deadline to file is April 30th every year, unless you're self-employed, in which case your deadline to file tax is in June. So let's assume that you are a regular employee. You have until April 30th to file your income tax for the previous year. If you've moved to Canada January this year, you don't need to worry about filing tax for now because you didn't live in Canada last year. If you don't file your income tax by the deadline, and if for whatever reason you owe the government money, you will be liable for hefty penalties and interest on any amounts owing for that tax year. Personally, I try to file my own income tax as early as possible in March because the sooner you file, the sooner you will receive a refund, if there's any. So here's what you need to file your income tax. Your basic information like your social insurance number, your address and name, your dependents information like children, your spouse. If you have recently arrived in Canada, you will need to include information from your employment before you arrive to Canada. If you are already employed in Canada, you will receive a slip from each employer you worked for during that tax year. The slip is called T4 slip. It is typically issued by your employer by the end of February. It is also available online in your CRA account. If you had investment or interest income, you'll have to collect a T5, Statement of Investment Income. If you're self-employed, you will have to provide information on all the money earned as self-employed during that year. If you have foreign assets over $100,000, you'll also need to report them. For Quebec residents, you must file a separate tax return to Revenue Quebec. This is the only province in Canada that requires you to file two tax returns, federal and provincial. You will also need to collect some information on additional expenses. The Government of Canada provides a lot of tax credits and refunds and allows you to deduct various expenses from your income. Examples of such deductions can be medical expenses, education, moving expenses, and donations. There are many more deductions you can claim, and we will cover these more in the second half of the video. But make sure you check out the official CRA website for the full list of all deductions. And please be advised that you need to have all the receipts and the documentation required to prove that you've made those expenses. In this video, we will only cover basic tax forms you can file as part of your income tax report. Since many individual cases are individual, and this video could easily stretch for hours, please make sure to do your own research to understand what deductions and form filings apply to your specific case. And if you're in doubt, please consult with a certified tax professional. The fee for the accountant will cost you about $100, but it will save you stress and time, and it will give you a better understanding of deductions, which most likely will cover the cost of the professional services. Now that you have all the documentation and information ready, let's jump to the tax filing walkthrough. Anna, over to you.
So let's start filing your income tax together. In this part of the video, I will do a walkthrough of how I usually file my taxes using Wealthsimple Tax. This software is completely free to use to file tax, and personally I really like it for its simplicity and easy user experience. So you will start with opening up the Wealthsimple Tax website and logging in or creating an account. In my case, I already have an account with Wealthsimple for my RRSP and TFSA, and by the way, if you're looking to start investing, you can use the link I will leave in the description box below, and you can receive a free stock when opening an account with my link. So we're in, now you select tax and you select the year for which you want to do the report. In my case, it's 2022. Okay, here we go. Some information here is pre-filled because it's not the first time I'm doing it. But in your case, you will have to fill everything from scratch. On the left side, you can just look at the different menu items and easily move around within the report. We start with the basic information here, all standard information. You will have to use your SIN number, and it's used to identify you for tax purposes, not file access code. So if you're filing tax for the first time, you will not have this code, so you can skip this section right away. If you have filed tax before, then you should have your access code on your previous notice of assessment as it states here. Moving on. We now fill out the Canadian mailing address, phone, and we get to the residency details. In which province did you live by the end of the year? Has your residency changed? This is asked in order to calculate the provincial income tax you're expected to pay. This is an important question. Did you become a resident of Canada in 2022? Let's say yes for demonstration purposes. You see, there is another question that pops up to consent to the fact that you're solely responsible for accurately reporting all your income, credits, and deductions. You can hit Learn More to read some more basic information. I highly recommend you take your time and read through this. Next, you will have to specify the date you entered Canada, as well as the income you've earned before you became the resident of Canada. So let me now go back and choose No, and it takes me to the next section to fill out the marital status, single, marital status unchanged, and I have no dependents. Who are dependents? It's parents, children, and others who basically depend on you and your income. Moving on to miscellaneous. Did you own a foreign property? Did you dispose of property? The cool thing about this interface is that if at any point you don't understand the question, you can always click to learn more to answer it correctly, and it creates the next field for you to fill in based on your answer. Then we have a couple more pretty straightforward questions to answer. Climate action incentive. Did you live outside of these metropolitan areas? Let's Google what this is. We can just go on Canada.ca website and see that this is a tax-free amount paid to help individuals and families offset the cost of pollution. And it's only available in these 4 provinces. So did I live outside? No. In fact, I lived in Toronto area. So I do qualify for this incentive payment. Last year, I think I got around $150 as a climate action incentive payment. Next, they ask you if you want to authorize CRA to provide your information to organ and tissue donor registry. You can select what you'd like here. Ontario Trillium Benefit. So Ontario Trillium Benefit is an Ontario-specific program for low-income families. Again, if you live in a different province, you may have different types of questions here, depending on what tax credit programs each province is running. I do not qualify for Trillium program. Next is Ontario Staycation Tax Credit, and this one is really cool. Basically, Ontario encourages its residents to contribute to the local tourism and travel within the province. And if you do, you can claim tax credit on the money you've spent on accommodation within the province. How cool is that? I will claim this. I did go camping last summer and stayed at a few hotels in the province. Are you registered for CRA My Account? Yes, I am. And if you're not yet, please make sure you do so. It's the place where you go for anything tax related. It's super convenient. Do you want to sign up for online mail? Personally, yes. Next section is to help you autofill parts of your return. You can do it through your CRA account if you have it, or you can connect with your Wealthsimple accounts if you have investment or trading accounts with it. That's super convenient. Alternatively, you can just enter all data manually. So let me quickly demonstrate what connecting to CRA looks like. So you go through this very lengthy authentication process, and once you're in, it shows you all the slips available via CRA, and you can select for all these to be added and filled, so you don't have to do it manually and enter numbers field by field. So I have the T4 form from my employer, my T5, it's a statement for investment income because I own some shares in the company, and other general information about my profile. And next, it's time to start filling out different forms. I would highly recommend you poke around different forms just to get an idea of what are the things that you can claim, for instance, education. You can claim your tuition and education amounts as tax credit. If you have student loans and pay monthly interest on the balance, you can also deduct that from your income. If your child goes to school, you can use their tuition fees to get tax credits for yourself. If you receive any scholarships or bursaries, you have to pay income tax on that. If you belong to a licensed profession like accounting or engineering, you can deduct the license's fees here. Canada also has Canada Training Credit, and you can get some reimbursement for doing some courses or upskilling. And medical is another huge part of it. Let's step away from tax form here for a second and go to canada.ca website, where you can see a full list of all the medical expenses you can deduct, like dental services, vision services, eyeglasses, and so much more. Alright, you get the point. There is a lot to keep track of and to know what to deduct. It's important to know all that and understand how the system works, so you can keep track on all your expenses throughout the year, save receipts, and be confident about what you can deduct by the end of the year. Remember, the more educated you are about how the system works, the more confident you are with your finances. So let's continue with my tax declaration one by one. Ontario Staycation Credit. So in here I have to provide details on dates traveled, where I stayed, the HST number on the receipt, and the amount paid. This is what this form looks like after I filled it out. So you see, we did a lot of camping last year and we were able to claim deductions for it. Next is the employment income. As you see here, because I connected to the CRA account, it auto-populated all the necessary fields for me. I just visually verify them here. If you're manually entering your numbers from the T4 you've received by mail or downloaded from your employer's portal, here is an example of what that looks like. Each field has a number here, and all you have to do is just to put the right amounts in the right numbered boxes. Next is the T5 form pre-filled, and I can verify it quickly and skip right through it. Next is RRSP contributions. So in Canada, you can contribute to a registered retirement savings plan, and you can reduce your taxable income by the amount you put away towards retirement. It's a fantastic instrument to help you pay less tax today and put money away towards retirement in the future. Each year you have a deduction limit, which is calculated based on your last year's income. We made a video about RRSP and I highly recommend you watch it. So here I just select when I've made my contributions last year. You can also make contributions in the last 3 months of the following year and have it count towards your previous year's deductions if you'd like. And sometimes your employer matches your RRSP contributions, helping you save twice as fast. Those are the best employers. So here you just make sure to record every transaction you have made. And this is what it looks like for me. Medical expenses. So here I've just filled out various dental expenses and their cost here. Next up is business and professional income. Since we have a YouTube channel, we also must declare and pay tax on any income we make from YouTube. It's not a lot, but still it must be reported along with all the expenses we incurred trying to make this channel grow. The biggest expense this year for me was the new lens for our camera. I hope you like the quality of the picture. Next up is donations. So this year we adopted Mars and we kindly made a donation to the animal shelter where we got him from, so we can claim that amount as a tax deduction. Alright, I think that's it for me. Next step is to review all the reports and optimize them. Wealthsimple Tax automatically assesses your inputs and provides recommendations on where you can improve and red flags potential errors. It also provides opportunities for claiming more deductions that I didn't think of. For example, here it suggests I claim work from home due to COVID-19 expenses and digital news subscriptions. And now that we're done with everything, it also suggests to set up a direct deposit, so when the refund happens, it lands straight to my bank account. And here you can view your total refund amount. And now it's time to submit it to my CRA, so I verify that all information is correct, and here you go, the return was submitted. It usually takes about 2 to 4 weeks to receive your return. Remember, the sooner you file your taxes, the sooner you get your return, which means you can invest this money sooner and make money make more money. We hope this video was helpful. Let us know in the comments below if you like filing your taxes yourself or you have an accountant doing that for you. Don't forget to check out the description box below for useful links, including the links to open a Wealthsimple account and start investing with a free stock. Please don't forget to visit our Facebook group. This is a great community where we answer your questions and support each other. If you're still watching, now is the perfect time to click the like button below and subscribe to this channel. A huge shout out to our Patreon supporters. Thank you, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.